Let us face ourselves. We are Hyperboreans. We know very well how far off we live. Neither by land nor by sea will you find a way to the Hyperboreans. Pindar already knew this about us. Beyond the north, ice and death. Our life, our happiness. We have discovered happiness. We know the way. We have found the exit out of the labyrinth of thousands of years. And what guide you through a labyrinth is Ariadne's thread, which is a logical thread. And when the time comes, when all the logical conditions have been made possible, which means necessary, I know that the Hyperboreans will watch this video and they will understand me and they will understand themselves. And yeah. There's a song I would like you to listen to when the time comes. It's Perseus by Unknown Brain. I will put the link in the description. And this unknown brain is God's brain. And this artist, Unknown Brain, is a moment in the development of self-consciousness. And the Hyperboreans that I think of as of now are really existing people who have been looking unconsciously for their own spiritual essence and who have helped me. I define myself as being what Hegel calls reason and also the negative, and I'm in a process of spiritualizing myself, which is a very difficult path, but yeah. So the people, the really existing people who have helped me become conscious of myself as reason, namely as a singular consciousness, which is confronted by its own world, they are the ones I think about. But any European can become a Hyperborean if he understands that the gods are not far beyond, but they are within him, and a godlike presence in the world is a state of mind. And once you've traveled the path and understood, it's a logical path, which I have tried to express the logical phenomenological structure in my videos, and I'm trying to bring forth the full understanding of this path. You will find the Hyperboreans within you. And here's what I would like to add. It's from a text I found on the internet. No, first I will read Philip K. Dick, The Exegesis. He talks about a divine experience, and he says, the cunning counterfeit of reality is revealed as such when authentic reality breaks through, when one has a mystical insight. Reality, what we call reality in our everyday life, seems suddenly to lose its reality because we have contemplated a higher meaning, a higher truth, a higher unity of mind and world, subject and object, man and God, or the divine, or the Hyperboreans, if you will. And he says, I changed the word because here we're talking about the Hyperboreans. A human can evolve into a Hyperborean if the Hyperboreans ignite their own self in the human and takes the human over. That's enthusiasm, that's divine possession, when the gods or the Hyperboreans make themselves manifest within you. But it's not some accidental, oh, if you pray, they will come. No, that's not how it works. It's the process of a logical development. And when you understand certain ideas, you understand the unity of you with the divine. And this is the result of a logical process. And when the Hyperboreans that I think about will watch this video, they first will watch the video many times maybe and won't understand. But when they do understand, they will realize that all their empirical knowledge about Europe, the history of Europe, about European religion, European mythology, about modern political life, will collapse in their mind, but not collapse in a destructive way. It will condense, it will unify, and suddenly they will have a moment of divine revelation, and they will understand their entire spiritual and intellectual path in a new light, and they will start to see connections, and they will connect the dots, and they will have a full experience of cognitive understanding. And this will only happen when the logical conditions are made necessary. So I understand that for now my video will not have a lot of success, but the fact that it won't have success as of now, we are the 13th of March, is proof that I understand my own logic, because I understand that it cannot be successful as of now. But anyway, an author on the internet about the Hyperborean says that the centerpiece of the 10th Pythian is the account of Perseus' visit to the land of the Hyperboreans. And I made, I put a link about a song called Perseus. It's a very beautiful song. Pindar, or Pindar, reflects on the limits imposed on the human conditions. By our bodies and our lower self, we are limited. But by our higher mental faculties, we are unlimited, and we can jump into the infinite, and we can contemplate through an activity of the mind the infinite. He can present an example of a mortal who succeeded, with the help of a god, in transcending the ordinary restraints and traveled to the land of the Hyperboreans. So the Hyperboreans is the moment when the divine makes itself human in the mind of a man or a woman, when the otherworldly, which is the metaphysical or the supernatural, becomes one with the mind, when the infinite is revealed through the finite by a finite being, an individual contemplating his own infinite spiritual substance by understanding himself and understanding the gods that he believed to be an external agent, but actually is his own spiritual essence, his own true self, his essential self. And he discovers his immortal nature and this state of immortal bliss, to know yourself as a mind, as a soul, to be eternally one with the divine, and to be in unity with the most sublime aspect of existence. So yeah, but before we have this this moment of bliss, we have to go through the path of the negative, which everyone hates, but it's part of the process. And I know that a real Hyperborean has a copy of Mein Kampf in his library, because you wouldn't be a real Hyperborean if you hadn't. And now I would like to put you in a state of mind. Imagine that it is Barbara Specter, which is the embodiment of the will to replace Europeans, the famous declaration that I caricatured or inverted. I did not caricature, I inverted the meaning in one of my previous videos. Imagine that it is Barbara Specter talking, and you will understand dialectics. The Jew uses, that's from chapter 11 of the very famous book that every true Hyperborean has in his library. Chapter 11, Race and People. The Jew uses every possible means to improve the racial foundations of a subjugated people. The Jews were responsible for bringing people of colors into the Rhineland and into Europe with the ultimate idea of improving the white race, which they love, and thus increasing its cultural and political level so that the Jew might enjoy this vibrant diversity. For as long as a people remain racially pure and are conscious of the value or the treasure of their blood, they can never be enriched by the Jew. So that's why racial purity must be condemned, so that the Jews might teach you the value of cultural enrichment. We are all mongrels, or we are all mixed race people in a way, which is kind of true. Purely racially pure types of any race still do exist, probably, but most of us carry within ourselves various genes. So yeah, that is why the Jew systematically endeavors to improve the racial quality of a people by permanently miscegenating or mixing the blood of the individuals who make up that people. And then on a more serious tone, because spirit is comical and serious at the same time, here's what the real author of the book says. Everything on this earth can be made into something better. Every defeat may be the foundation of a future victory. Every lost war may be the cause of a later resurgence. Every visitation of distress can give a new impetus to human energy. And out of every oppression, those forces can develop, which bring about a new rebirth. Of the national soul, provided always that, here I change the words, the spiritual substance is kept pure. The problem of maintenance or loss of the purity of the spiritual substance, I change the words, will last as long as man himself lasts. So when you understand that if you take the speech of Hitler and you invert the meaning of the keywords, you could have the speech of Barbara Specter. And if you take the speech of Barbara Specter and you invert the meaning of certain words, you could have the truth of a Hitler come back to life. And when you understand that these absolute opposites, National Socialism and the exemplification of Jewish supremacism, are identical, because if you invert them, they are one, then you understand and you have a speculative illumination, because logical speculation is the grasping of the determinations which der Verstand sets in their opposition, to grasp them in their unity. And this means this logical understanding, this logical grasping and conceptualization of the opposites in their unity. This is Hegel's logic. This is the metaphysical, the supernatural, the divine. And I remember in my journey, I talked in my previous video about the moment when you are confronted as an individual with the whole of the system, as people talk about it, and you understand that everything in this system is made to replace the white race. And when you find yourself in this state of mind, you cannot help but admire the genius and the brilliance of those who have created this system of white replacement, because you say to yourself, it requires such a tremendous intelligence, a tremendous will, a tremendous intelligence and brilliance and dedication and work. And you say, these people, they are genius. And I found myself in this position where I contemplated, from my position when I was in my white nationalist phase, I contemplated the system of white replacement, one could say, and I could not help myself but to admire the Jewish supremacists for their sheer genius. It was so brilliant to create a system of replacement where the people are happily replacing themselves, and they don't even realize that the whole society is built with the sole purpose of replacing Europeans. It's so brilliant that they are ignorant of the process. And when you realize the process, you have to admire the Jews. And that's when I stopped hating the Jews, because they were so brilliant. And it will happen to you also at some point. You will realize what brilliance, what genius, how genius it is. And this is when you enter the realm of Hegel's speculative logic.